My dear friends, are you ready to close your eyes and journey far away? Let me take you back thousands of years to a magical world, deep into the heart of the Maya civilization. Imagine yourself in lands covered in lush green jungles, where stone cities challenge the imagination and towering pyramids and temples stand in shadow, devoted to ancient gods. Here begins the story, a journey into the world of the Maya, masters of legends, mathematics, astronomy, and breathtaking rituals. Right here, on the thin line between heaven and earth, priests track the stars, perform mysterious ceremonies, and in the echoes of once grand cities now fallen to ruins, we'll trace the heartbeat of time and follow the path of ancient gods. As we step through these lost cities, we'll uncover secrets buried beneath each stone, taking us on a journey not just through history, but into the very depths of the human soul. Are you ready? Because once this journey begins, nothing will ever be the same. Just think about it for a moment, endless tropical forests and deep valleys home to roaring rivers. This is the place, the warm, humid air of Central America, where the seeds of the Maya civilization first began to sprout. Even though the origins of the Maya people are still shrouded in mystery like a secret hidden behind the fog, the echoes of their spirits can still be heard here, right? The story that began in these ancient lands would eventually turn into a massive legacy for humanity. The first Maya settlements slowly took root in the vast lands stretching from El Mirador to Copan, in what is now Guatemala, Belize, and southern Mexico. Imagine small communities coming together, starting to form little towns and villages in these lands. Picture yourself walking through the streets of those villages, curious about how this new order was working. Tribal chiefs, priests, slaves, merchants, each played their part in establishing a structure. But even back then, the Maya were not just focused on shelter, they also developed rich and creative agricultural techniques to sustain their lives. Farming in the heart of the rainforest, on the borders of swamps and valleys, was challenging. Yet the Maya found a unique way to grow staple foods like corn, beans, and squash, a farming method they called milpa. Just imagine. In the clearings they made in the middle of the forests, they produced food using this clever technique that renewed the soil and created a healthy cycle. So they weren't just a people with full bellies, they were also a community deeply connected to the land. Then, this agricultural miracle became the first step in bringing small villages together and laying the groundwork for the rise of larger cities. Everywhere you looked, there were towering stone structures, expansive plazas, and ceremonial spaces dedicated to the gods. This is where the first great Maya cities like Nakbi and El Mirador began to emerge on the historical stage. These cities weren't just shelters or trade hubs, they were spiritual centers, sacred places where people gathered. Each major city had its priests and leaders, who not only governed their people but also took on sacred duties as part of a divine order. The Maya built their temples in these early cities, held their ceremonies, and began to observe the stars. They were pursuing not just a transition from a village to a vast civilization, but also the creation of a society that bridged the sky and the earth. Each city symbolized a power that ruled over the surrounding forests, mountains, and rivers, and these cities gradually started connecting with each other to form a vast Maya network. So, my friends, you can envision the early days of the Maya civilization, where cities blended into nature, sacred ceremonies unfolded, and mysterious stories began. And this story doesn't end here, in fact, it's just getting started. Because the Maya civilization would grow over the centuries, increasing its power, knowledge, and secrets, and leave the entire world in awe. My dear friends, just think for a moment. As the Maya civilization was slowly taking shape, there was a people starting to unravel the secrets of the sky and the earth. This era, known as the Preclassic period, spanned from 2000 BC to 250 AD. And it wasn't just an ordinary time, it was almost a period of preparation where the Maya laid the cultural foundations for what was to come. It's as if the Maya people knew that one day they would establish a great empire, and they were training themselves for this sacred duty. On one hand, social structures were developing. Small tribes were coming together to create larger social systems. During this time, the leaders who governed Maya society were seen not only as responsible for maintaining order, but also as sacred figures who acted as a bridge to the spiritual world. These leaders and priests guided their people by observing the sky and the stars. So the social structure was not limited to human relationships, it was shaped according to a cosmic order. Within this system, the entire community was considered a part of a divine power, and everyone carried out their roles with that awareness. During this period, the first examples of Maya architecture and sculpture began to emerge. The stone structures that were built might seem at first to be just for shelter or protection. However, my friends, each of these stone buildings had a sacred meaning. Every stone, every column, and every relief reflected the Maya people's respect for their gods and their belief in the universe. These structures were not simple buildings, they were expressions of the deep devotion the people had for their gods. Of course, there were also statues and carvings. Just imagine, every detail intricately crafted, with figures carved to reflect the grandeur of nature and the gods. There was also another aspect that highlighted the depth of Maya culture, their intense interest in astronomy. Oh, can you picture them gazing up at the stars at night, trying to decipher the secrets of the universe? They didn't just look at the sky, they recorded the movements of stars and planets and derived prophecies from these observations. For the Maya, the sky might have been nothing more than a window through which the gods communicated their messages. This is why, when they climbed to the tops of their temples, they were watching not only the earth but also the stars. These observations laid one of the strongest foundations of Maya culture, preparing the ground for their future vast knowledge of astronomy. And so, my dear friends, these years in the pre-classic period were the first steps for the Maya people towards divine knowledge, cosmic mysteries, and the construction of sacred cities adorned with magnificent structures. For them, every stone, every ritual, and every star was a gateway to a secret. And the Maya, setting out to solve these mysteries, were on the path to building one of the most unique civilizations in human history. Now, my friends, as we slowly approach the classic period, we will witness the rise of the Maya society. Ah, my dear friends, we're setting off on a journey to the golden age of a remarkable civilization, the fascinating peak of the Maya civilization. We're diving into the period known as the Classic Maya period, which spans from 250 to 900 AD, a time that will echo throughout history. These years mark not just the rise of a great civilization, but an era that left an indelible mark on human history. Just imagine the magnificent cities, towering temples, and incredible scientific achievements that adorned this period. During this time, great cities like Tikal, Palenque, and Calakmul became the heart of Maya civilization. Tikal's grand temples, Palenque's artistic and architectural marvels, and Calakmul's significant political and military power, each city played a unique role in the Maya world and embodied the splendor of Maya culture. These cities were more than just places to live, each was a ritual center and a hub of knowledge. When the Maya people climbed to the highest points of their temples, they gazed at the sky, feeling as if they were face to face with their gods. The Maya didn't just build magnificent structures, they were so advanced in agricultural techniques that they reshaped their land. In the challenging geography of Central America, they created reservoirs to collect rainwater and transformed swamps into fertile fields. These methods allowed them to feed their population and easily keep up with the growth of large cities. This was the miracle of that era, my friends. Each harvest was a testament to their deep respect for nature and their intelligence. Furthermore, the Maya developed their writing system to such an extent that, yes, dear friends, They created one of the most advanced written languages of their time. Their texts were filled with dates, legends, and dedicated inscriptions to the gods. This unique language allowed them to pass their history down through generations. And of course, the Mayas' knowledge of mathematics was exceptional. They developed the concept of zero. Just think about that, my friend, zero. This allowed them to perform complex calculations and track celestial movements. And let's not forget astronomy. Imagine that the Maya sages believed they were unraveling the mysteries of the universe every time they looked up at the sky. When they gazed at the night sky from their temples, they observed the dance of planets, the movements of the moon and sun, and believed these were messages from the gods. The movements of the stars, the moon, and the sun were sacred signs to them, and the calendars they created based on these signs were among the most precise and impressive astronomical calculations of their time. These calendars served as a cosmic guide, determining everything from wars to harvest times, and from sacred festivals to rituals. So, my dear friends, the classic Maya period was one of history's unforgettable moments. With their society, sciences, and deep love for art and knowledge, this people left a legacy for the future. Now, in the next step, we'll closely explore the continuation of this great civilization's golden age, the secrets behind their successes, and the reasons for their eventual decline. All right, friends, we're stepping into the spiritual world of the Maya now. It's a realm where every moment of life, from the rising sun to the darkness of night, from the alignment of the stars to a single raindrop, is considered sacred, a message from the gods. The Maya people believed in a different god for every element of nature and viewed establishing a balance with these deities as the most important goal in their lives. Each god provided something essential: rain for abundance, light from the sun, and guidance through the lunar cycles. These gods were the protectors of the Maya and the foundation of their existence. You know, this devotion to the gods, like in every great civilization, led to the construction of magnificent temples in Maya society. Just imagine, my friends, these temples were not just made of stone and lime. Every single stone was part of a ritual, dedicated to a specific god. The Maya prayed at the highest points of their temples, closest to the heavens, to express their gratitude and honor their deities. And yes, in Maya rituals, sacrifices were seen as a sacred way to win the favor of the gods and ensure the safety of the people. People believed that by offering blood to the gods, they were inviting their power to the earth. Maya cosmology was so profound and mysterious that they believed the universe was made up of three layers: the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. These three layers were interconnected by a sacred tree, known as the Tree of Life. Imagine that the branches of this tree reach up to the sky, while its roots dig down into the underworld, facilitating communication with the gods. That's why every ritual was dedicated to both the heavens and the earth. It was done to strengthen the bond between gods and humans. Just picture the magic of those religious ceremonies, dear friends. The drums echoing in the silence of the night, temple courtyards shrouded in incense smoke. In each ceremony, the smoke rising from the incense held by the priests was considered a bridge carrying messages to the gods. As the scent of the incense ascended, it was believed that the gods were hearing these messages. These sacred moments were accompanied by dance and music. Every movement and every note was a supplication, a prayer to the gods. So, my friends, through these rituals, the Maya weren't just serving their deities, they felt their presence in every moment of their lives. Their religion integrated them with the cycles of nature, the mysteries of the heavens, and their own spiritual world. Now, in the next step, we'll delve even deeper into the Maya's fascination with science and wisdom, exploring their efforts to understand the workings of the universe. Dear friends, now we're diving into the profound wisdom of the Maya people, who sought to understand the flow of time guided by the stars. The Maya were a people dedicated to unraveling the secrets hidden in the vastness of the night sky. For them, stars, planets, and the moon weren't just distant objects floating in the sky. Each one was a divine guide that regulated the cycles of life. When the Maya looked up at the shimmering stars in the darkness of the night, they didn't just observe the movements of the heavens, they interpreted them with such delicate insight that this knowledge became a legacy, illuminating not just their own people but future generations as well. While observing the sunrise and sunset, as well as the phases of the moon, the Maya saw time as a cycle. Their understanding of time wasn't a straight line, it was more like a circle, an endless loop with no beginning or end. This cyclical perception of time deeply influenced their lives and beliefs. In fact, the creation of the Maya calendar was based on this cycle. Just think of that famous Maya calendar. Behind that intricate system lay thousands of years of sky observations and a captivating understanding of cycles. And then there was Venus, oh, that bright star. The Maya would watch Venus almost as if they were worshiping it. To them, Venus was like a message from the gods, especially during wars and rituals when its movements were closely monitored. The rising and setting of Venus wasn't just part of their calendar, it was also a reflection of their religious and social lives. Every movement of Venus was seen as a sign that determined the rhythm of life. For the Maya, Venus was the most precious envoy of the sky, the voice of the gods. The Maya calendars were made up of 3 interlinked cycles: Hab, Tzolk'in, and Long Count. Hab was a 365-day calendar that marked the solar year and defined the cycles of the seasons. Tzolk'in, on the other hand, was made up of 260-day cycles, with their religious rituals, birthdays, and agricultural times organized according to this calendar. And the Long Count calendar represented the pinnacle of the Maya's efforts to measure time from the beginning of the universe. It was a way for them to account for time across eras and predict future cycles, helping them understand the world and the universe. You see, my friends, the Maya looked up at the sky and observed not just the stars but also the future, every moment of life, and their connection to the gods. Understanding all this reveals how the Maya read the heavens like a book and turn the pages of time. Now we'll delve a little deeper into this journey of wisdom, exploring the golden age of Maya civilization and the peaks they reached in science and art. My dear friends, now I'm going to tell you about the beauty shaped by the hands of the Maya, the dreams they carved into stone, and the magnificent structures that rise from nature. The Maya didn't see art just as a means of beauty to them. It was almost a gift dedicated to the gods. When you look at their sculptures, you can see the delicate craftsmanship that carries the meanings of nature, life, and the afterlife. The murals were like stories that depicted both the lives and beliefs of the Maya. Anyone stepping into the city would see the courage of warriors, the respect for the gods, and the joy of ceremonies in these paintings, feeling like a part of this grand tale. Now let's take a look at the magnificent temples at the heart of Maya architecture. These temples could be described not just as structures on Earth, but as buildings that rose in the Maya's imagination as well. They believed that those who climbed them would be closer to the gods. These temples were incredibly symmetrical, aesthetically pleasing, and engineering marvels. Every stone, the way it was placed, and the overall form of the structure reflected the respect they had for the divine, especially the pyramids. My friends, these pyramids were not only grand structures but also divine calendars infused with astronomical knowledge. The movements of the stars in the sky were calculated on these structures, etching the power of the gods and the cycles of time into the stone. As you wander among these colossal buildings in the heart of the cities, you can see the incredible attention the Maya paid while planning their towns. Every plaza, every pathway, and the waterways were arranged with great care. The canals and waterways that surrounded their cities showed how the Maya controlled water and developed agriculture at the same time. They viewed water not just as a resource but as a sacred symbol, nourishing their city through these channels, as if they were holding the source of life and abundance in their hands. Sculptures, paintings, structures, canals. All these details reveal how the Maya perceived the world. They are the result of a harmony intertwined with nature, the gods, and the sky. The Maya's sense of aesthetics was a reflection of their dance with the universe. Now let's step further into the secrets of this magnificent civilization, exploring its social structure, system of governance, and the lives of its people. My dear friends, let's take a moment to close our eyes and imagine life flowing through the Maya society, feeling the power of the kings, the grandeur of the nobles, the skills of the merchants, and the everyday lives of the people. The Maya civilization was a world where every individual had a place, every family had a role, and every class had its own unique influence. From the king's palace to the farmer's field, a well-organized system prevailed everywhere. At the top of society was the king, believed to carry the sacred blood of the gods, who protected his people with his power and wisdom. The king was not just a ruler, he was also a mediator between the gods and the people. Because of this, the people looked at him with reverence and placed great trust in his words. Dressed in shiny garments and wearing a magnificent crown made of feathers, he would walk through his palace, overseeing his people and offering prayers to the gods, performing rituals to earn their favor. The nobles stood right beside the king. They managed wealthy lands and vast estates, serving as the king's right-hand men in ceremonies and wars. Among the nobles were some priests who conducted special rituals to communicate with the gods and guided the people toward this sacred knowledge. On the other hand, there were the merchants, so valuable that they traveled to distant lands, supplying the Maya cities with precious stones, feathers, spices, and exotic goods. These merchants, who fostered trade and brought wealth to the cities, were the unsung heroes of the economic system. Their handcrafted goods, painted pottery, stone sculptures, and finely crafted jewelry represented both the society's aesthetic values and the backbone of the economy. Now let's talk about the lives of ordinary people. Friends, those hands working in the fields, the bodies toiling away, the mothers raising their children, the fathers. They formed a class that nourished society from its roots and embodied the essence of life. Every morning at dawn, farmers would head to their fields, carefully tending to their corn crops, and during harvest time they would gather their produce with deep gratitude. Children played, families came together, dances were held during festivals, and offerings were made to the gods with great appreciation. Their clothing varied according to social status. While ordinary folks wore simpler garments, the nobles and royal family donned intricately designed, colorful fabrics. Each individual and each family had their unique responsibilities and roles. There was a strong sense of cooperation among families during grand ceremonies. Everyone gathered to share meals and dance together. Even though life was divided into classes, everyone lived under the same sky, bound by the same beliefs. The gods were watching over them, maintaining the order of life. Thus, within the Maya people, there was a deep harmony and balance in every aspect of life. They did everything they could to maintain this balance and ensure the gods continued to protect them. Now let's step from this peaceful and orderly life into the battlefields, where kings clashed and witnessed the rise and fall of great alliances. Now listen closely, my dear friends. Life in the Maya world wasn't just about rituals in the presence of gods, the beauty of cities, and the harmony of daily life. Sometimes the harsh sound of war would break through the quiet of the land, and the clash of swords would echo through the silent corridors of temples. The Maya city-states were powerful and majestic settlements, independent yet interconnected like a sprawling web. However, these cities weren't always peaceful enough to forge friendships at a moment's notice. At this point, the power struggle between giant cities like Tikal and Palenque became one of the main factors shaping Maya history. Both cities, as the largest in the region, had a fierce desire for power and would relentlessly fight under the leadership of their leaders, who had earned the favor of the gods. The never-ending conflict between Tikal and Calakmul was felt not only on their own lands but also in the smaller cities under their influence, shaking up the political balance across the entire Maya world. Yes, my dear friends, every victory and defeat between these cities planted the seeds for the next major alliance or war. These power struggles were about much more than just a simple contest for supremacy. The Maya city-states placed significant importance on not only military strategies and physical battles, but also on political alliances and diplomacy. Alliances, political maneuvers, and the importance of a friend or an enemy could determine the outcome of a war. Sometimes, powerful cities would form alliances with smaller ones to expand their influence, thus boosting both their economic power and military capabilities. However, these alliances were not always reliable when the balance of power shifted. Friends could turn into foes, and foes could become friends. The alliances formed among Maya cities were sometimes solidified through marriages. Kings would marry their daughters or sons to nobles from other city-states to strengthen bonds of friendship, securing their lineage while also safeguarding against potential conflicts in the future. These strategic marriages created a web of secret agreements, political games, and complex diplomacy that determined the fate of the cities. However, while each friendship agreement might bring temporary peace, it often turned out to be just a brief lull before the next conflict. Of course, war itself held a significant place in Maya society. When a war broke out, both sides would do their best to defend themselves and defeat the enemy. Maya warriors donned meticulously crafted armor and wielded spears made from sharp stones. Each battle had its own unique rituals, and every attack followed a specific strategy. Defensive structures and military tactics were quite sophisticated. Cities were surrounded by large walls, observation towers were erected at strategic points, and defensive lines were filled with traps and passageways designed to confuse the enemy. The war strategies employed to gain superiority over rival cities showcased just how advanced the Maya were in both art and engineering. Yes, my friends, these struggles, the bloody stories of each battle, the fragile friendships of every alliance were the very dynamics that held the Maya civilization together, keeping it alive and vibrant. In the Maya world, wars weren't fought merely to gain land or defeat an enemy. They were also about demonstrating devotion to the gods, proving strength and courage, and honoring the spirits of ancestors. These wars and alliances acted like a powerful wind that changed the course of Maya history, with every victory and defeat etched into the memory of the Maya people. Now let's pause for a moment as we think about the complex and intricate balances behind these endless power struggles of the Maya. Let's look up at the sky and imagine how the gods observed these wars. Because for the Maya, the gods were everywhere in the midst of battle, in the shadow of peace, in every victory cheer, and in every friendly handshake. All right, here we go. Here we are at one of the most mysterious points of the Maya civilization, those dark years leading to the end of this magnificent culture. As you listen to our story, close your eyes and imagine yourself walking in the shadows of ancient temples that have stood for thousands of years. Picture the abandonment of Maya cities after AD 900. Those dizzying pyramids, vast plazas, and bustling marketplaces are now shrouded in silence and desolation. But why? What happened that left these once grand places filled with secrets and empty spaces behind? First of all, dear friends, signs of cracks within the Maya world were starting to show. With the rapid increase in population, the Maya cities found themselves needing to accommodate more and more people. Their agricultural lands were becoming insufficient, and the fertility of the soil was declining. These people became desperate for food and began struggling to stretch their limited resources. On top of that, climate change was making things even worse. Drought cycles became more frequent, drying up the land and eroding their livelihoods one by one. But the issue wasn't just about the scarcity of bread and water. Political turmoil also engulfed all the kingdoms. Alliances between Maya city-states were breaking down, kingdoms and cities turned against each other, and civil wars erupted. This political chaos shook the people's confidence, and once lauded kings and nobles lost their former glory in the eyes of the public. The people, perhaps unable to find the peace and order they sought, started to migrate and search for new lives. Of course, the factors leading to the decline of the Maya civilization were not just material. The people were also in search of something spiritual and religious. The gods who had guided them up to that point might not have brought the salvation they hoped for during these tough times. Changes in beliefs and the gradual abandonment of temples were also dragging the Maya spirit into emptiness. And so, these reasons, each part of a larger puzzle, set the stage for the withdrawal of a great civilization. The cities of the Maya were abandoned, the plazas fell silent, and this grand civilization left behind only temples and the carved memories in stone. Ah, my dear friends, we've reached another pivotal moment that completely changed the fate of the Maya civilization. When the Spaniards arrived on their massive ships from distant lands and stepped onto the peaceful soil of the Maya, they opened the doors to a completely different world. In that moment, it marked the beginning of a dark era for the Maya people, one they couldn't have imagined. The arrival of the Spaniards was not just about conquest, it was a clash of cultures, a collision of two different worlds. The Spaniards found the once mighty civilization weakened, but still clinging tightly to its roots. Many Maya cities were no longer in their former glory, but the people remained devoted to their traditions and ancient beliefs. However, when the Spaniards arrived, their eyes were set solely on gold, power, and new lands. They showed little mercy for the spirit, knowledge, or history of the Maya people. During the conquest, the Maya endured immense suffering, my friends. They resisted and took to the battlefields to defend their honor. Against Spanish armor, they wielded nothing but stone weapons, determination, and faith. But this struggle eventually led not just to the loss of Maya territory, but also to the loss of their identity and history. The Spanish invaders worked to erase the ancient wisdom etched into the hearts of the people and the stones. The Maya writing system, inscribed on temple walls and stone tablets, was a treasure trove of knowledge, a voice of a civilization. However, the Spanish priests viewed much of this writing as satanic and sought to burn everything related to the past in their effort to convert the people to Christianity. Thus, the wisdom of the Maya lost what could have been an eternal legacy. Centuries of inscriptions, texts, and ritual books were fed to the flames one by one. Just imagine, my friends, holding the history of a people, the story of an entire civilization in your hands, and suddenly watching it all dissolve into smoke, rising into the sky. The Maya civilization became merely a memory whispered by stones, its wisdom scattered into the void with the ashes. This transformation deeply affected the Maya people. Legends, gods, traditions, all of these faded into mere shadows in people's minds. The Spaniards began to write their own stories on that land, imposing the new while erasing the old. But remember, my friends, history always finds a way to survive, and the Maya people carried a piece of their ancient spirit within them. They never truly destroyed it. And so, my friends, the long, glorious, and sorrowful journey of the Maya civilization brings us to today. This is a legacy that has filtered through the layers of time, reaching all the way to the present. Sure, the grandeur of those massive stone temples may be gone, and the life that once echoed through the streets of those ancient cities has been buried in silence. But the spirit of the Maya people is still alive. Even today, the descendants of the Maya continue to exist in their lands, keeping alive the wisdom and cultural heritage passed down from their ancestors. Modern Maya people see themselves as the bearers of this rich legacy. They continue to speak their ancient languages, which date back thousands of years, and they keep their old rituals alive. While Maya languages may not resonate in every corner as they once did, they are still vibrantly spoken in villages, homes, and communities. Over the years, great efforts have been made to ensure these languages are not forgotten and to help them thrive again. Language is the memory of a people, my friends. These languages, which have survived from ancient times to today, are bridges that connect the past of the Maya people to the present. The Maya descendants are not only preserving their languages, but also their traditional crafts, agricultural methods, and music. They teach their children how their ancestors viewed the world, how they made sense of the movements of the stars, and how they tracked the cycles of time. Each year they pay homage to the earth, water, and wind through ancient rituals, maintaining that age-old connection with the universe. The legacy of the Maya civilization isn't just confined to the Maya people. My friends, modern archaeology and history have also learned a lot from this ancient civilization. Scientists have spent years deciphering the inscriptions of this unique culture, trying to understand the world of those people by reading the symbols on stone. The Maya calendar, their knowledge of mathematics, and their astronomical observations have served as great sources of inspiration for modern science. With each new discovery, the secrets hidden beneath those stones come to light. The stories concealed in the temple walls and the wisdom buried within lost cities are revealed. And this is why, my friends, the Maya civilization has never truly vanished. Today, the Maya people living in Guatemala, Mexico, Belize, and Honduras continue to uphold this legacy that spans thousands of years. These people prove the immortality of a culture by carrying the voices of their ancestors from centuries past into the present. Just think about it: behind thousands of years, a culture that has resisted wars, invasions, and oblivion still speaks to the world. The Maya civilization continues to remind us of how valuable the past is and how powerful time can be. And so, my friends, we've reached the end of this long and winding journey from the lost cities of the Maya civilization to the people living today. We've uncovered the secrets hidden behind the stone walls, buried in the sands of time. We've felt the echoes of prayers, bravery, hopes, and disappointments resonating in the shadows of the temples. We've tried to see the story of a civilization that has remained silent for centuries through the voice of a wise person who lived thousands of years ago, from their perspective. This journey has filled me with such excitement and deep admiration that I wanted to share every line, every stone, with all of you. The Maya people teach us not only how a civilization was built, but also how it survived. They show us how precious knowledge, faith, culture, and every word passed down through generations truly are. Their silent stones speak to us with every glance, whispering their secrets. And each time we follow the traces of those lost cities, we learn something from their wisdom, determination, and resilience. That's why, my friends, it is our duty to remember the past and continue being the voice of those ancient civilizations. As I conclude this story, I want to remind you of the spirit of those ancient peoples above all else. Who knows, perhaps one day, while walking through those mysterious lands, you'll come across the footprints of those who lived long before us and hear their whispers. Maybe you'll walk, feeling the past hidden in every stone and every grain of earth. This is the true meaning of the journey we've embarked on in the land of the Maya, in pursuit of those lost cities. Dear friends, as I end this story, I hope you always feel the echoes of the Maya lands past in your hearts. Take good care of yourselves, your history, and the knowledge buried deep in these lands. Remember, the wisdom of ancient times sleeps like a seed in each of our hearts, and one day it will lead us back to those old stories and ancient civilizations. Until we meet again on another journey.